Welcome to the Academy, a series focused on the basics of Star Wars: The Old Republic. Hey everybody, this is a short guide about my list of favorite settings I think all players should enable that are not enabled by default to save time and frustration while playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. These are the settings that I enable every time I boot up my game when my settings have to be reset. Let's jump straight in. To open your settings in Star Wars: The Old Republic, press the Escape key on the top left of your keyboard and choose Preferences. Number 1. Enable Auto Loot on right-click. There's no automatic way to pick up your rewards off of the ground, but there is a setting you can turn on to make looting easier. The Auto Loot on right-click setting in the Controls tab makes it so when you right-click an enemy, all items on that enemy go into your inventory instead of you having to select them one by one. Number 2. Enable Deselect Target upon clicking Terrain. This setting in the Controls tab makes it so if you have an enemy selected, then click on the ground, the enemy will become unselected. I find this very useful if I accidentally target an enemy, but want to untarget them, so if I accidentally press any of my attack abilities, I will not accidentally attack them. Number 3. Set camera max distance to 100%. The max distance camera slider in the Controls tab controls how far back you're able to zoom out with your camera. More camera range is usually always more useful for when you want to see more of your surroundings at once, because you can still zoom in and stay closer to your character until you need to zoom out. Number 4. Set global camera shake to 0%. You don't necessarily need to turn this off, I just want you to know where the setting is if it starts driving you crazy later. There are some areas that will cause your camera to shake, as if there's an earthquake. You can turn this off by setting the global camera shake to 0% in the Controls tab. The most common places ground shake happens is on Alderaan. Number 5. Enable background audio. The background audio checkbox in the Sound tab will continue to play SWTOR sound even if the game is minimized or in the background. Being able to tab out of the game to look something up is incredibly useful, and leaving the background audio on allows you to remain immersed with the beautiful sounds and music of the Old Republic. Also, allow you to receive a warning if you're being attacked, or hear notification sounds if you are messaging a friend or waiting for the group finder to find you a match for group activities. Number 6. Turn sound effects volume down to 25%. I found that the sound effects volume in Star Wars: The Old Republic is very high compared to the other sounds in the game, especially when you are in combat, especially if you have multiple players in combat. I often turn mine down to around 25% while leaving the others up at 100% in the Sounds tab. This is, of course, up to your own preference. Number 7. Turn on subtitles. If you are struggling to follow the story or are hard of hearing, I highly recommend turning on subtitles. The experience is less cinematic, but makes the conversations your character has visible as you have them. If you want to learn how to make the subtitles bigger or more visible, I've got a separate guide just about that linked in the description of this video. Number 8. Allow full screen windowed to tab out. As the game is so big, you may want to be able to easily tab out and look things up online, or be able to chat with your friends outside of the game while playing. Set the game to full screen windowed in the drop-down on the graphics page, so you don't have to reload the game every time you tab out. The only time you want to set your game to full screen alone is if it's really struggling to run, and it would be better for you to look things up on your phone instead of tabbing out. Number 9. Set your graphics. If your game is stuttering or lagging while playing, there's a good chance you'll need to turn down your graphics settings. The easiest way to do this is by using the graphics quality preset drop-down. If your game is really struggling, try very low, as it will automatically turn off every setting it can once applied. I would also try just setting it to medium. Medium offers a really solid compromise between the highest and lowest settings, and it's usually the setting I recommend players try running the game on. If you're new to the game tries to choose the best settings available for you automatically. However, if you have a decent computer, you can also try bumping up the graphical setting and see if it can still run just fine. Number 10. Enable Allow Access to Same Class/Personal Phases. If you plan on ever joining another player for a mission or have someone join you, you'll want to check the checkbox called Allow Access to Same Class/Personal Phases in the Social Settings tab. Even if you don't plan on playing with other people, this setting can be really important if you're trying to get help or give help on a mission you're stuck on. Number 11, auto-ignore guild invites. If you're a new player and not already in a guild, there's a good chance players will randomly start inviting you to their guild to boost their guild's numbers. I highly recommend declining and instead playing guildless, or instead seeking out a guild that's a good fit for you rather than the first one that happens to invite you. To stop receiving spam invites, you can check the auto-ignore guild invite setting in the social settings. Just remember to turn this back off if you find a guild you like and are trying to get invited to. There's also a lot of other ignore options here that you can play with. Number 12, show exploration missions. If you're the kind of player who likes to do every quest and see every story, I recommend turning on the show exploration missions setting, as by default, many of the side stories are disabled, so new players don't get overwhelmed with a million quests on their map. To show these missions, you will need to open your map with the M key on your keyboard and check the checkbox to show exploration missions on the bottom left. Number 13, extended Quickbars. In the game, free-to-play players get 3 Quickbars where your abilities go. Preferred players get 5, and subscribers get 6 Quickbars. However, when you first start playing, no matter your status, only 2 Quickbars will be showing by default, and you may need to turn the rest on. The easiest way to do this is by pressing the very small icon of a cross with arrows on each end. It will be directly beside your character portrait on your Quickbars at the bottom. It's really tiny. From that menu, choose the Extended Quickbars option, which will show all Quickbars you have available automatically. Number 14, lock your Quickbars. By default, as you're playing, you can drag and drop your abilities on your Quickbars to reorder them. However, if you aren't careful, you may wind up accidentally dragging them off all your bars altogether while you're in a fight, which can be very frustrating. To prevent this from happening, you can lock your abilities in place by pressing the very, very tiny icon of a lock near your character portrait on the left side of your bottom Quickbars. This is very close to the Extended Quickbars button too. You can click it again to unlock it if you want to reorder your abilities. And lastly, number 15, remove system feedback from chat. While you're playing the game, especially if you're looting enemies, you may notice a ton of information is thrown into the chat that doesn't involve actual players talking. If you want to limit this chat box clutter, especially if you plan on talking to your teammates, friends, or guildmates, go to your chat area, right-click the General Chat tab at the top, and choose Chat Settings. I highly suggest unchecking the system feedback if you scroll down a bit in that list. It gets rid of a lot of the yellow text. However, if you ever wanted to see this informational text, it is still available to you even if you turn it off in the general chat. Just click the Other tab at the top of the chat box and most of the information will still be there. For example, what rewards you got from an enemy or what rewards your friend got in your group. This is also a good place to check if you're getting any types of errors when it comes to grouping up or entering an instance. And there you have it. There's my top 15 settings that I think all players should check out and turn on. If you want to show your support for these tips, tricks, and guides about Star Wars The Old Republic, visit Subtitles.com/support. And if you want more videos like this to show up on your YouTube homepage, subscribe to this channel. As always, may the Force be with you.